Alan, thanks for taking the time to interview with me. So just going to review last season as a whole. We're going to look forward to next season, 2023, which kicked off on Sunday there. So going back to the previous season, how do you feel that was?
Over the course, successful, I would say probably. You know, kind of 2 trophies and a kind of 3rd place in the league. I don't think we could have asked for much more. Maybe a kind of slightly higher finish in the league, but I think two trophies kind of supplements that with a 3rd place finish.
Obviously, with the 2 trophies and, you know, one of them being the Scottish Cup, what were some of your highlights from the previous season? Any players that stood out last season that are coming into next season?
I think it's difficult. I think if you're going to look at kind of specific players, you're going to maybe look at more statistics and numbers. And I think if you look at numbers, you maybe look at David. I think it worked at 34, 35 goal involvements in 41 games. It worked out, I think he ended up with. So when you look at the numbers, it's just crazy. And that was across 3 competitions, obviously the league, the Scottish Cup, and obviously the Blantyre Tour, which we took part in. But in terms of, as I say, we stick with numbers, kind of looks like Jamie. Jamie obviously won Player of the Year. For Jamie being part of the band league for, I think, if I'm right in saying, I think it's double figures, kind of 10 years. This is the first time he's ever hit double figures in terms of goals and assists, so I think again it worked out for him. It was like 25 goal involvements in 41 games, and for somebody who played kind of deeper midfield and defence, a defensive kind of more minded player over the course of the season, I thought that's remarkable. So yeah, I think if you're going to talk standout players, you're probably going to talk more statistics and numbers. Yeah,
definitely. So give me your top 2 highlights from last season then, if you can.
2, I think it'd be hard to narrow it to 2. I think if you're going to pick 2, you're going to look at the 2 trophy wins, obviously. I think to win Blantyre again was nice, but I think to win the Scottish Cup was unbelievable and an experience that even myself that you know, felt like once in a lifetime. And again, we're going to go again in the coming season, and obviously look to retain it and keep it. But of course, like at that time, it just feels like once in a lifetime. And I just think it was totally overwhelmed everybody, myself and the rest of the coaching team included. But yeah, I think just the magnitude of the semi-final, kind of going 1-0 down, getting it back to 1 each with kind of seconds to go on the clock, and then breaking up the park for kick-off, and Andy making the best save I've probably ever seen in my life at any level of football, to take us to penalties, and just the whole magnitude of penalties, being even, and then Sean blasting his over the bar, and then Andy saving us, and then missing again and us scoring, and going to the final, and just getting in the final. The boys were just so on a high getting in the final, and we played some of our best football in the final. We really took the game to Dalkeith, and I thought, and ended up we were thoroughly deserved winners. So I mean, I could pick loads of highlights for last season, the end of season party, and just spending time with certain people. You know, just spending time with this group of players is special. Never mind kind of obviously everything that comes with it, but I think obviously the 2 trophy wins will be the standout too.
Yeah, so just going back to how it was the highs and the journey of the Scottish Cup and the specific way we got to the final, how do you then turn the boys to not feel like they've won it all and then come back into pre-season for the following season?
It's tough because they're always going to come back with a wee bit of an ego. I suppose everybody gains a wee bit of that. It's about coming back in, and I think the good thing for these boys is they always come in being out of football for 6 months, but our boys are kind of fairly lucky because we continue to train, and we've obviously got our 11s tie as well. So the boys are able to continue training, keep coming and playing their football, but they go for that kind of competitive side of it, not playing for 6 months, to coming back in, you kind of hit the ground running straight away, and they're kind of straight back into Falkirk as soon as we go back, so they're straight into kind of 4 or 5 games as soon as we go back, depending on whatever way the league fixtures work out. In this case, so this season it's been a beginning games of 4, so yeah, you know, it's just been grounded and, you know, remaining positive with a realistic mindset is the kind of the basis we're trying to tell the boys.
Yeah, so do you think the boys have worked hard over pre-season then?
Yeah, as always, it's always been a tough pre-season. The difficulty for these boys is this a pre-season where if the first team do pre-season, they get it in the hot weather, and you know they've got the wee bit more comfort running about in the nice weather. Granted, obviously they've got the magnitude of running about in the heat, but these guys are doing it in the complete opposite. They're doing it in the wind and the snow and the rain, and I feel that the pre-season that's a wee bit tougher because you're always going to come with more layers, and you're always going to come 2 and 3 tops deep, and before you know it, tops are off, Under-Armours are off, and the boys are working themselves that wee bit harder. So I always find that the boys get themselves that wee bit fitter quicker. Just because obviously how heavy the pre-season is, with obviously how poor the weather is. Obviously we live in a country, we can't help the way the weather is, so but I think the pan pre-season always ends up that wee touch harder than the summer, just purely with the weather.
Yeah, so do you think it will carry through into the league season 2023?
Well, I like to hope so. You know, I think we look back to Sunday, you know, I thought that really kind of stapled where we're at after pre-season, and we had a tough 2 weeks with the first team. Obviously a lot of the regulars came down for a bounce game, and it was tough games, but I felt when the games we were the master were on downfall as well at times, and the first 2 games in both weeks were identical, you know, running away to 2-0 in the lead, and then but just totally switching off that the game was done, that was us, we've won, and it wasn't. And luckily they got away with it the first week, you know, kind of getting a goal with kind of seconds to spare and won the 3-2, but the following week they were on the opposite end, they conceded a goal with minutes to go and it was 3-2 and they lost, and you know what I mean. But it's trying to be that, build that character, you know, it's okay, let's move on for that defeat. And to be fair, the boys took it really well, but no, I think based on the obviously what you've asked, no, I think we totally took that into Sunday there, and then showed what we can do and what we intend to do the rest of the season.
So touching on Sunday there, you've mentioned that a couple of times, that was the first 4 games of the League 2023, so how do you feel as a whole those games went?
Positive. From the feedback that I got, I wasn't obviously there, but from what the feedback I got, looking at the stats, last year we went the first day of the season, we won 3 and we lost 1, and we scored 4 and never conceded any. This year we've won 3, we've drew 1, and we've scored 8, so we've doubled our goal tally and never conceded. So I think that again sets us in good stead for the rest of the season. There's a lot of football still to be played, of course, but we've got to take the positive for the first month and look at the first month before we get to the next. We've got to take it month by month, and I don't think we can ask for much more for the boys. 10 points out of 12 and 8 goals and 4 clean sheets, I think is remarkable. Yeah,
I think from a footballing aspect and a managerial aspect, you always want better from your team, but it's hard to want more when they're giving you everything.
Well, that's just exactly it, and these boys certainly have gave everything. You know, these boys deserve every bit of praise and whatever they get, you know, whatever comes their way, whatever kind of stuff in the media, with the papers and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram or social medias. These boys deserve all the credit and praise that they get because they've earned it.
So midway through last season we signed 2 players in Ronan and Martin, and obviously during the winter break there we signed Ross Cosgrove. Do you feel like they're going to be adding a lot to the squad?
I think Ronan and Martin already have, to be honest. I think they totally strengthened us going into the Scottish Cup month. You know, and had a couple of goals and assists, which if you look at that, you take them out, do you win certain games, do you get a goal in certain games and things like that. So I think they've always got to consider that. I think they're running at the end of the season, they totally strengthened us, and we were adding a lot more points on the board, and I feel I say a lot, we added a few more points on the board than I thought we would have at that point in the season, which we set us in good stead for this season. Ross again was a good addition. Ross at the same time as Ronan and Martin, but he had his own personal things to deal with outside of football, and it was always going to be till this season. But fair credit to the boy, he came back pre-season and worked his socks off to get himself ready, and all I got was positive reports from Sunday that he played well and he done well, and he was a great addition, and the boys are looking forward to working with him. And obviously I presume the pages will get a wee bit more from in the coming weeks when his interview and stuff's released and stuff, so it'll be a good chance for people to understand and meet who he is and see what he's all about.
Nice one, Alan. Well, thank you very much for the interview with me, and all the best for 2023 ahead of you.